Thanks for showing up with me today on your mat. Today is going to be a class all about connection. Now, that could mean multiple things to you, but for me, it's going to be connecting my breath with my movements. Now, this is so helpful for so many reasons, and not just for yoga, but for me, I used to be a super klutz, all the time knocking into stuff, knocking things over, like queen of spilled glasses on restaurant tables. So, having started yoga a few years ago, I have really noticed a change in the way that I move and my graceful factor. Now, you may have seen me dance and you may be like, Shea, you're not very graceful. But I'm here to tell you that I am much more graceful in my normal everyday movements and I'm a lot less klutzy because of yoga. And that's because I've learned the breath to action, moving your breath and your motions together. I've learned that from yoga. And that is a kind of unique practice to yoga because it really isn't just about what you're doing, but it's how you think about what you're doing. So the more we kind of connect with that, okay, my brain is telling me I'm doing this and I'm going to breathe and do this, things become more fluid and things become more just natural and graceful. So think about that today as we move through our practice, and hopefully we can get a little more less klutziness in our life, because as I can tell you, the moment I lose that connection, I get klutzy again. So let's think about that. Let's get into our practice. Starting on our backs today, we're just really going to start out connecting first before we even start moving. So get kind of comfy. Get your shoulders down your back. Try to flatten out your back and your tailbone and just move around for a second and see what feels good to you. It's all about the way you feel, y'all. So once you got all situated, start bringing your intention to your breathing. Not changing it yet, but just noticing where it is. And like a strong mountain pose when we're standing, think about that same connection and take your energy from your feet all the way up through the crown of your head. Great. Now, once you have that feeling inside of you, start to deepen your breaths. Let your inhales come all the way down to your pelvis. Maybe your belly comes up a little bit. And exhale, pushing it out your nose, lengthening the exhale. So whenever you're trying to find that breath, your exhale to begin with is always the most important part, because inhaling, we naturally are able to just suck in a lot of air, right? But pushing out the air and really controlling the output really helps calm us down. So not just sucking in all the air either, but finding the resistance at the back of your throat, almost like you were fogging up a mirror. Thanks, Brienne, for that one. It's a good one. So if there were a mirror behind you, you're trying to fog up the mirror as you inhale, and then fog the mirror in front of you as you exhale. So it should be a nice, loud, audible breath. Maybe not loud, but totally audible. Maybe even put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, just so you can feel your breath going in and out. Making sure your belly gets a little bit of rise and love here, while trying to keep your shoulders flat on the mat. So we tend to, when we breathe, pull our shoulders up towards our ears for a big inhale. Try to resist that and keep them nice and flat down on the mat and away from your ears. few more of these. Really feeling the connection between your body and your breath. Try to lengthen the inhales to match the exhales. And remember this because we will be using it during the rest of our practice today. So find a breath that's sustainable and something that you can continue to grow upon. When you're ready, roll to one side or the other. Gently push yourself up to a tabletop position. And we're moving from here straight into Tadasana. So step up into your forward fold. Find your footing on the ground. Maybe rock from side to side. And then pushing into the feet, slowly rolling the spine up to stand. Connecting to the core as you go, thinking of that energy moving from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Nice. Awesome job, you guys. So now that we're standing, feel free to do anything that you'd like here. Whatever movements that feel good to you. Mine are obviously this, for whatever reason. Moving, feeling your body, just getting into it, you know? After laying down, let's get some energy in our bodies. Maybe a mini dance party, whatever feels good to you. Always feels good to me. Yeah. Okay. Once we've gotten that out of the way, find your firm foundation into the ground and then slowly start to grow up your spine, sending energy up through the crown of your head and taking your arms by your sides, palms facing forward. Mountain. Inhale to expand, sending the crown of the head, maybe the back of the crown, and tucking the chin a little bit towards the chest, up, expanding. Exhale, sending the tailbone towards the earth, lengthening the low back. Keeping that motion, inhale, lift the breastbone, lift the back of the head. Exhale, shoulders down, away from the ears, stand up just a little taller. Nice. You feel strong and expanded and connected with your breath right now? Because I sure do. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bending the knees. Inhale, arms sweep up. Inhale, hands to heart center. Bending the knees. Inhale, arms sweep up. Now connect to all these movements in between, you guys. Inhale, feeling the spine and ribs expand. And exhale, keeping that lift. Keep going, but really pay attention to what's going on between every breath. Not just point A to point B, but really focusing on what's going on in your body. Some people focus too much on the end result of a pose or what a pose is supposed to look like. But what about what a pose feels like? And what a pose should be, you know? Maybe that's a little too woo-woo for you, but I believe all motions aren't just the end motion, but all the things that take us to get there. So release your arms down to your side and find a little bit more of emotion. Now really kind of thinking about what these mean now instead of just doing them. But really think about where you are in space and time, what's around you, what's going on, not just you, but what's in your space, you know? Maybe rolling out your shoulders one at a time. Just real loose with it. Just doing what your body feels right now. But connect to it, you know? So what feels good to it? And then take the shoulders forward one at a time. Maybe this feels a little dancey, I don't know. Both shoulders back, up towards the ears and back down the spine. Maybe get your whole body involved. And reverse that motion going forward. Rolling both up towards the ears and forward and down. Releasing that. Just take it out. Whew. Nice. Let's do some sun sals, you guys. Getting into our bodies. And I know we do sun salutations a lot, but as we do these, don't just think about forward fold. Don't just think about halfway lift. Think about the motions that are in between. So think about what your spine is doing and how the spine is waving as you go. Inhale, arms lift, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend the knees. Swan dive forward. Forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, pushing your hands into your shins and to your thighs. Maybe taking them behind you to your sacrum. Exhale to a forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep arms all the way up, articulating the spine. Exhale, hands to heart center. Slowly taking the shoulders away from the ears. Continuing the motion, bend the knees. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, moving with your breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle sweeping up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Couple more of these on your own, you guys. Take them in any way that you would like. And meeting in Tadasana, hands by the sides. Inhale, arms sweeping up. This time, take your heels with it. So coming on to your tiptoes. Exhale, take it down. Try to take this as slowly as you can. Really finding your balance as you go. Maybe exhale, you stay here for a second. Really finding length. Inhale, reach up even further, coming farther onto your toes. And exhale down. Inhale up to the toes. Exhale down. A couple more of these on your own. Playing around with your balance. Connecting your movements to your breath. And really trying to be graceful here. Long neck, long spine. And exhale, swan dive forward, bend in the knees, forward fold. Hands to opposite elbows, take the feet out a little wide, really nice bend in the knees, and just rock from side to side, ragdoll. Weight in the toes, just try to use gravity to really pull your spine down. Letting your shoulders go, not having any tension. Inhale, slowly start to roll up. Arms overhead. And exhale, Tadasana. Breathing and refinding your center. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale to a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, step it down to a tabletop. Inhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet. Being careful to keep a nice bend in the knees. Our spine straightness is more important than our leg straightness here. Rocking your hips from side to side, just feeling the connection once more. Maybe rocking your head around, playing around. Just get a little playful in your down dog. Don't be too serious. Not too much about what it looks like right now, but more about what it feels like. Maybe your shoulders, back of your hamstrings, your ankles, even your hands here. So pressing your knuckles and the fingertips into the ground to take some weight out of the wrist. Thinking of that for any time you're on your hands. Pressing into the L's of your hands, not letting your thumb or index finger come off the ground. Nice. Inhale forward to plank. Set your knees down. Let's practice some chaturangas, y'all. I know how much you guys love these. So if you have a block or something that you would like to use to practice your chaturangas to keep you from going down too far, sometimes it helps to have these right here in front of you. So whenever you, if you can't see this, sorry. When you come down onto them, your shoulders or your chest should hit right there, and you shouldn't go down any further. So what that looks like from the side, it looks like this. Okay, see how my shoulders are nice 90 degrees here, my elbows down to the ground? Awesome, great form. I could do this and I could still be supported. So it doesn't you're not having all your weight here just yet. Not yet, but we're working there. So starting in tabletop, if you have your blocks, if you don't, whatever, I'll not use them if you don't have blocks. Starting in tabletop, your nice firm foundation, wrists over shoulders. And when we start to go into chaturanga, we lean forward. So most of the time, this is a big no-no, and I always tell you, don't do that. Shoulders always need to be at 90 degrees. But here, we have to build up wrist strength. Chaturangas involve a lot of wrist and shoulder strength. So leaning forward into these, really making sure that our elbow creases are pointing forward. So leaning forward, just take this motion a few times. Leaning forward and see what that feels like in your wrists. So when you come forward, really think about pushing into the L's of your hands, pushing into your fingertips and your knuckles. Inhale to a tabletop. Exhale forward. Keeping that core nice and tight. Inhale to a tabletop. Exhale forward. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale forward. If you'd like to keep your toes tucked for a little extra support here, feel free to do that and just see what that feels like for you. Playing around with this motion. And if you're ready, when we exhale, we're going to hug in our elbows into our ribs. Don't let them flare out at all, but really hug them in tight. Feel your triceps working. Lower down halfway. So biceps should be in line whenever we go down with our ribs. So any further, see what happens? We kind of lose it. And if we don't go down far enough, we kind of don't get the full effect, which is fine. You can work your way up to it. So inhale into tabletop. Exhale. Take it down as far as you can. Inhale back up to tabletop. Whoo, these are hard, you guys. Do not feel bad if you are not here yet, but I would love if you would try, because this is how we gain strength, is by trying this, right? Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, lean forward, hugging in the elbows, slowly lower down to 90 degrees. Inhale, back up to tabletop, really squeezing. Awesome job, you guys. I'm so proud of you. Even if you think that you look bad and it's not working, you're trying it, and that's really what matters. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, lean forward and slowly lower. Inhale, back up, squeezing your core, and maybe setting it back down into child's pose and giving yourself a bit of a break. Reconnecting to your breath. Maybe taking your arms down to the side of you if they really got a little workout there. Just releasing your arms and shoulders. If you would like to stay here for a few more seconds, feel free to, but we're going to do this again now that we have an idea of what we're doing, and we're going to keep practicing this. Hello, buzzer. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, forward and lower slowly down, 90 degrees. Inhale, squeeze the core, squeeze the arms in to come up back to tabletop. Exhale, lean forward, slowly lower down. Inhale, back up to tabletop. One more time. Exhale, lean forward, squeezing the arms in, squeezing the core. Inhale, back up to tabletop. Whoo! Take it back down to your heels. Roll your hands out. Roll your shoulders out. Sitting back on our heels. Inhale, rolling the wrists up towards the sky. Exhale, keeping our arms lifted. Start opening and closing your fists kind of quickly. Continuing to breathe. Exhale the arms down, rolling the wrists out. It's quite the wrist workout, you guys. I will not lie to you. But this is all strength training for later. Every time we do these, every time you work your wrists out, things get stronger. Those are actually really great for carpal tunnel and really great for things if your wrists are really bothering you. This wrist strengthening is so good for all things. All things. Whew. All right. I kind of lost my place there because I went on a tangent, as I do. Okay. Whew. So let's take it back down to a child's pose for just a second. Regain my footing. Inhales and exhales, reconnecting. So if you've noticed, this class is kind of about transitions and like working on the transitions to things and not getting so in our head about, like perfect form or like perfect movements or whatever. Like whatever you are doing today and whatever your practice looks like is good enough. So as we work on transitions today, don't get too in your head about it. This is all just kind of working towards something else. That's what yoga is all about, just working towards a goal, working towards something. So all these movements put together eventually will make up something really great. So don't fret, don't be upset with yourself. Inhale back up to tabletop. Stepping our right foot forward into a crescent lunge. We're going to have our knee up here, so don't worry too much about having any cushions or anything. Taking our knee up to a low lunge, supporting ourselves with our fingertips, getting really long in our spine. What we are working on today is going to be taking it up to a high lunge, really pressing up and out of our feet. And let's see, what do I want to do from here? Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to a star pose. And exhale to a warrior two the other side. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, low lunge. Let's see, because I totally changed this right before I did this, like I do sometimes, because I like to confuse myself. So let me just work through this myself really quickly and kind of go through what I'm trying to explain to you. So low lunge, inhale to a high lunge, exhale to warrior two, inhale to a star pose, exhale to a low lunge. That's what I want to do. Yeah, because I want to work on transitioning from low lunge to inhale, high lunge. Exhale, spin that back foot down. It's going to come in your inner arch to front heel, warrior two. Inhale to star pose. Exhale, turn the toes. Take it down to a low lunge. Awesome. So these are all about transitions. It's all about getting from point A to point B, but as smoothly as possible. So connecting our movements to breath. Let's see how graceful we can make this. We can do this together. Low lunge. Inhale to high lunge, pushing into our feet. Exhale, spinning the back foot down, coming into warrior two. Inhale to a star pose. Exhale, point the back toes forward. Low lunge. Awesome. Inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, spin the back toes down. Warrior two. Inhale, turn the toes in. Star pose. Exhale, turn the front toes out. Low lunge. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, star pose. Exhale to the front, to the back, low lunge. Inhale up, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, star pose. Exhale to the front of the mat, low lunge. Awesome. Okay, so this time when we get to star pose, let's take it down to horse or goddess pose, where we turn both of our toes out and heels in. Inhale up to a high lunge. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale to a star pose. Exhale, turn toes out, heels in. Sit down into your horse pose. Hands at heart center. Inhale back up to star. Exhale, turn the back toes forward. Take it down to a low lunge. Awesome. Now if you're like, Shea, this is really confusing. Why are you doing this? It's just all about transitions, you guys. Like, let's get from point A to point B. You don't have to be perfect. This is all just kind of playing with movement and learning to get a little more graceful. So don't get too in your head about it. Just move with what you got. Move with where you're at today. Low lunge. Inhale to a high lunge, really pressing, squeezing the legs together. Exhale, cartwheel the arms around. Warrior two. Inhale, star pose. Turn the toes out, heels in, horse pose. Inhale back up to star pose, squeezing the thighs together. Exhale to a low lunge. So if you have to like move your feet around or your legs or whatever, just do it as gracefully as possible. That's all I ask. Inhale up, squeezing the thighs together, high lunge. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to a star pose. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, high lunge. Warrior two. Couple more times on your own. Moving with your own breath. Each pose is a breath. You can make it longer if you'd like. You can change it up if you'd like. And finishing in a low lunge, taking your time wherever you are. Taking it back down to a tabletop and back down to child's pose. Return to your breathing. Be proud of what you accomplished just there. Transitions can be kind of difficult, but they can be kind of fun once you figure it out. It's usually how I figure out my own transitions, is just by playing around on my mat and see what kind of works. Once you think you've calmed your breath down enough, take it back up to tabletop. And coming into forearm plank, setting our forearms down, taking our heels out, really spiking the heels to the back of the room to lengthen the spine. Pushing down through the shoulders and the elbows. Gaze soft between your forearms. Really keeping your core nice and active, pushing your tailbone to the back of the room and the crown forward. Nice and stable. Gotta love planks, you guys. Planks are so fun. Gotta act like they're fun, you know. We love planks. One more inhale. Get really long in the spine. And exhale. Taking the body all the way down, pushing the hips into the mat. And lifting through the crown of the head. Sphinx pose. Readjusting if you have to. But with every inhale, trying to press the belly button into the mat to lift through the breastbone. Every exhale, try to send your shoulders down and your elbows more into the mat as you grow taller. An even arch all the way through the spine, not just bending at the hips, but extending through the spine. Exhale, release all the way down to the mat. Pressing back up into forearm plank. If you want to take a few rocks to the hips here to distract you from the heat in the core, go ahead. Up and over. Really trying to keep the hips level, not too far up, not too far down. Maybe raising one leg at a time. Slowly setting it back down. Oh yeah! 5, you can do it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower the hips and lift the chest back into Sphinx pose. And releasing all the way to the ground. Slowly letting your spine relax. Arms out to goalpost arms. Lifting the right leg. Inhale. Exhale, take it to the left elbow as far as you can. Pushing into the left side of your chest and shoulder. Inhale to expand. And exhale to twist, maybe taking the foot a little farther back. Not cranking in any specific area, but really trying to lengthen the entire spine. Slowly connecting with those breaths to release and loosen any tension you feel. And on your next exhale, slowly set it back down. Inhale the left leg up. And exhale, twist the leg behind you, trying to connect the left foot with the right elbow. pushing into the right side body. I would have my ear on the ground, but my earpiece is kind of restricting me, so do as I say, not as I do. Inhale, expand the spine. And exhale to twist and release. Kind of like a rag, like wringing a rag out. And on your next exhale, slowly bring the leg back down. Pushing back up to tabletop. Inhale the right leg out long. Exhale, taking the right leg in between your hands for a crescent lunge. If you would like to get a blanket or something to prop up that back knee, if you have knee issues, sometimes it just feels nice. Inhale, arms up, pressing into the foot, pressing into the back knee. Exhale, maybe shimmying that front foot up a little bit, taking the toes up, coming into a runner's lunge. Now here, usually we think about just the end result. But as we breathe here and take these motions really slowly, try to think about getting there as gracefully as possible and waving the spine as much as you can. Exhale, fold. Slowly unbending that front knee, taking nose to toes, chest to knee. Keeping the spine really long. Inhale up to a crescent lunge. Exhale down. Focusing on squeezing the thighs together to get a little bit more ease and balance here. On the exhale, think about taking the pinky toe towards the hip. Really opening up through the hips there. See what that changes. 2 more times on your own. Really just discovering and learning something new about yourself today. Maybe you're more graceful than you thought. You just got to think about it. Meeting back in tabletop, taking that front leg back. Switching sides. Inhale the left foot out. Exhale to step it between the hands. Maybe taking the foot out a little farther than you think you'll need to. Inhale, really stepping into the mat. Bring the arms up. Exhale, unbend that front knee. Take the toes to the ceiling. Take the chest to the knee. Moving slowly. Inhale up. Exhale down. Squeezing the inner thighs together. Notice how one side may be a lot different from the other side. And just know that is normal. And there is nothing to be ashamed about when it comes to yoga. Your body is where it is right now, and that just is what it is. And there should be no judgment about that. Two more of these on your own. Really try to slow down your movements even more. And meeting back in tabletop whenever you are finished. No rush at all. Swinging the legs around onto your seat. Taking it to an easy seat, Sukhasana. Now, if sitting is a little difficult for you sometimes, or you just need a little bit of a relief, you can take a rolled up blanket or a pillow and stick it right underneath of your tailbone. So just a little bit of lift in the back will really help to lengthen the spine. Notice if that helps at all. Notice if you like that any more than you did before. Because honestly, like, I really like having something right underneath my tailbone. In poses, seated poses, or anything, like we will be doing fire log and cobbler pose, sometimes having your tailbone just a little bit lifted is just such a blessing. All right. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, left arm to right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up through the spine before you twist. Exhale. Inhale to grow and expand. Exhale, release, soften. Trying to take your shoulder blades away from your ears. Rooting into your sit bone, and notice how that causes you to grow taller naturally. Every lift and expansion that you create on the inhale, try to keep that with the exhale, but just twist the shoulders a little bit further. Inhale the arms back through center. Switch your legs. Nice. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to twist. Right arm to left knee. Left arm behind us. Sitting up nice and tall. Sometimes it helps to have a block behind you if your arms are short like mine. Not just forcing your body into a twist, but really connecting your breath to your opening movements. And find as you create more space on the inhale, there's more space for you to twist. You become less constricted. We're able to move more freely. And the breath just calms us down and tells us we're going to be okay. Your slow, steady, calm breaths tell your nervous system that you're fine. Everything is fine. I am not in danger. This pose is good for me. It's good for us. Work with me here. Inhale back through center, arms up. And exhale, just let your arms come down. Maybe take some gentle movements in the spine. Just feel the twists in your body. Twists are so great for your inner organs and your digestive system because it just squeezes them and just helps them move and work a little better. So whenever you're twisting, just think of all the love that you're sending to your internal body. Whatever leg is on top, keeping that blanket underneath of your tailbone. Coming into fire log pose. The right or left knee goes over the right. Scratch that. Left ankle goes over right knee. Sometimes they call this double pigeon. So if your knee is just up really high here and you're like, this is not comfortable. Like my hips have been kind of giving me some issues lately. Go ahead and stick a blanket or a block or a pillow underneath of that leg and kind of meet it where it lives. Perfect. And I still feel this stretch too. So inhale, maybe move any flesh that you need to really get your sits bones nice and firm into the mat. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale, find that foundation. If you'd like to move to folded, or if you just want to stay here, that's totally fine. If this is just working for you today, and you're like, I don't need to do that, that's cool. Know your body, honor your body. If you would like to move forward into a deeper stretch, we can inhale our arms up and open. Exhale, keep that lift, hinge at the hips, and set your arms out in front of you. Walking your hands forward and finding your edge. Keeping a flex in both feet, so keeping your toes pointed toward your calf. Protecting our joints. And then just relax your head and neck in between your biceps. And go ahead and round your spine out. Give you permission to do that. Usually I want to say keep the lower back nice and long, but feel free to just round it here. Feeling the stretch in the outside hip, the left outside hip, maybe the inner thighs. And if this isn't comfortable for you at all and your knees just really hate you, feel free to just stay in an easy seat. You can fold from there too. Some days look different to other people, so one day you might have been able to do this, and today might be a little different of a story. Wherever you live today is the story, so just let that happen and work with that, no judgment. On your next inhale, slowly start to walk your hands back in towards your shins, setting your head and neck back up last, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, release your legs, hands behind you, take some windshield wipers. Being careful to keep your ankle in line with your leg. So if you're moving in this motion, pick up your feet as you do so. And switching sides, right leg over left knee, or just stay in an easy seat, just switching legs. If you need that block for support here, this seems to be an easier side for me. But keep that there if you need a little bit of support, if your knee's just kind of popping up here. Move any flesh that you need to. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, ground down. Feel the back of the head rise up as the chin comes closer to the chest. Inhale, arms overhead. Keeping that lift. Exhale, hinging from the hips. Really trying to keep your sits bones on the ground. And then walking your hands forward as where your edge is. And once you find that, just release your head and neck in between your arms. Keeping a flex in the feet and maybe pressing into your hands to really set your tailbone back on the ground. And then giving yourself permission to just round your spine if that feels good. And don't forget to breathe, you guys. That's what it's all about. Feeling that right outer hip talk to you. I know mine is. I think that's my favorite phrase. I know mine is. If you can, try to slow down your breaths even more here, setting up to relax. Really slowing down your nervous system, telling your body everything's going to be okay. Walking your hands back in slowly on an inhale. Head and neck last, heart over pelvis. Exhale your legs behind you. Give some love to your low back, your hips. Nice. Keeping your sit bones on blanket if that feels good. Bringing the soles of the feet together into cobbler pose. If this feels weird or just isn't good for your knees or your hips or whatever, feel free to just slide your feet forward into a wide angle pose. So this may feel a little better, and your knees can be a little higher up here. If you'd like blocks or something underneath of them, sometimes that feels good too. Options, you guys. I'm here for you. So if you'd like a little more of a stretch here, bring the heels in as close to the pelvis as is possible. And try to draw your knees down with your outer thighs. Not pressing them down, just drawing them down. So maybe taking a few motions, some butterfly knees, but slowly, just kind of feeling where the source is in your hips. And then stopping that motion, trying to draw your outer thighs down, opening up through the hips, grabbing onto the ankles or the feet, and just sitting up nice and tall. Maybe drawing the shoulders down and the chest through. Putting a smile on your face. If you'd like to take it into a fold, feel free. I will be moving into that, but if this feels good for you today and just is like, I want to live here, you stay here. This is perfect. Inhale to lengthen, keeping that lift. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward, maybe taking the elbows wide and connecting them to the shins to draw yourself forward even more. Nice long spine, no rounding in the back, the low back just yet. We can get there in a second. But really focus on breathing before moving. So slowing down and feeling where you are at every stage. Don't just try to move into it, but breathing your way there. So maybe every inhale, you're expanding, pushing your tailbone down and the crown up. And every exhale, you're trying to fold a little deeper. If you would like to just take the crown of your head towards your feet and rounding the spine like a cat, go ahead and do that if that feels good. Or you can continue lengthening on your inhales and drawing your chest closer to your feet with every exhale. Wherever you're living today, there's a lot of options here, so go ahead and do what makes you feel good today. Connecting to that Ujjayi breath. The next inhale, slowly start to rise. Head and neck last. Bringing the knees gently together, closing them like a book. Hands out behind you, and just take the knees from side to side, windshield wiper them out. Man, felt that in my hips, you guys. Give yourself some love today after this. Self-care. Coming into some stillness. We're going to slowly roll onto our backs, so take your time getting there. We'll be getting into Shavasana shortly after, so if you'd like to have a blanket or a pillow close by, set yourself up for comfort. Getting your hair out of the way, moving any clothes. Now that we've met on the ground, take your arms and legs out far to a morning stretch. And exhale, curl the spine, bring the knees into the chest. If your neck is healthy, you can round the neck up towards the knees. Inhale back into a morning stretch. Take these movements nice and slowly. Exhale in. Feeling the extension in the spine both ways. Just like you would in a cat-cow motion. And take the next minute or so to kind of do whatever feels good here. I like to give you a little free motion at the end because sometimes I didn't cover something and your back may still be talking to you, or you just may not feel completely finished yet. Feel free to just kind of do whatever your body needs today before we set up into Shavasana and get all the wigglies out. So even if you need to wah, do it. It's kind of almost one of the good things about doing a lot of yoga from home. Because in a class, you feel like really self-conscious sometimes. But at your house, you can fart. and, do weird things if you need to. And that's just totally up to you. I don't know why I always do these. These are my favorite things. Just really massaging the low back. Nice. Feeling loose, feeling good. One more time, taking your knees into your chest, Apanasana, nice long spine. The biggest inhale that you've had all day, fill all the way up. And exhale out your mouth. Let all your limbs go out to the side. Move any clothes, get a blanket, get a pillow, take a drink, whatever. Just get ready to stay still for a few minutes with me and really allow your body to absorb this practice. Absorb your intention. Absorb all the breath work that you did today. No matter what level you are at, no matter where you are, there will be benefits to this, even if you got into a pose or not. Pressing into your shoulders or your arms to really flatten your shoulders down your back. Start coming into stillness, palms facing up. Turn to that breath. Nice deep inhales all the way to the base of your pelvis. And exhale out your nose. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. Sometimes it's really hard for us to just relax and let our minds go. But the practice of trying to do that is just as important as actually doing it. Just like strengthening your wrists or getting your body ready for chaturangas. It's the same thing. The work matters. The work you put into it really adds up. If your mind starts to wander to something that's not what you're doing right now, turn to your breaths and really think about the inhales and the exhales, the movement in between. Notice where you might be holding any tension in your body. And just allow yourself to release it on your exhale. Soften your face, soften your jaw, and soften your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Continue to lie here and continue to think about your intention today. Think about your time on the mat. And think about taking the things that you're thinking about right now into your world later. So as we've learned about connection today and we've really practiced it, maybe take that practice into your world and be a little more graceful. Maybe thinking a little bit before you say something or thinking before you move, and see how that changes the way you interact with other people. This is from a passage from the book Still Life with Woodpecker. When the mystery of connection goes, love goes. It's that simple. This suggests that it isn't love that is so important to us, but the mystery itself. The love connection may merely be a device to put us in contact with the mystery, and we long for love to last so that the ecstasy of being near the mystery will last. It is contrary to the nature of mystery to stand still. Yet it's always there, somewhere. A world on the other side of the mirror, a promise in the next pair of eyes that smile at us. We glimpse it when we stand still. So, I hope you guys take that intention and that love with you today. Start maybe bringing some movement into your fingertips and your toes, maybe rolling them out, taking a gentle move to your head and neck, maybe rolling your hips. And whenever you're ready, roll to one side or the other, pressing slowly up to an easy seat with your head and neck last. Thank you guys so much for showing up with me today and for yourselves. I appreciate you all more than you will ever know. Hands at heart center. The light inside of me sees the light and the divine and the awesomeness inside of you. Go in peace today, you guys. Namaste. Yeah. Karate kicks. Yeah.